Hello, welcome everybody to the Conexia Sector Outlook. Today's in this program, we'll be conducting, a proper sector analysis, and we'll have some, key panelists who will be discussing the sector with us. The idea, friends, is basically to, talk about particular sectors which are into limelight and which can give long-term wealth creation to investors. So today's sector which we will be discussing is basically the domestic. A lot of news flow about automotive sales, both from the four-wheelers as well as from the two-wheelers and the commercial vehicle segments. And there has been a very strong revival in demand across these segments. Now, how this revival is going to impact positively for the domestic tire sector today. The flow of the program, friends, will be basically, we'll be talking about the sector overview by way of a small presentation. And after this presentation is complete, we'll be talking to two panelists. The first panelist is Mr. Ashok Ajmera. Mr. Ashok Ajmera is a very well-known investor. In fact, he's the chairman of Ajcon Global Services, and it is an institutional as well as a retail broker. Most importantly, Ashok Bhai has been giving a lot of interviews and sharing his knowledge with retail investors on YouTube as well as through their research reports in the industry. So Ashok Bhai, thank you very much for being on the show, and we'll definitely are privileged by your presence. The second guest, thank you. The second guest in our show is Mr. Sharad Chandra. Now, Sharad Chandra is a very well-known, advisor. In fact, he's now currently an advisor with Mehta Equities for the research and wealth desk. Sharad has been a very old hand. In fact, he was working earlier with ILFS, IDBI, and has been in the industry for a very long time. So we will get the benefit of Sharad Chandra also in this show, who will be joining us soon. And most importantly, the views given by these two experts typically will give you a complete overview of the sector and the kind of companies which should do well over the next, say, 12 to 18 months. So this will add a lot of value to retail investors in our opinion. So without wasting time, friends, let us start the presentation without any time waste. So let's begin. The discussion today is going to be on the tire sector, and basically this will be a small presentation which will give you an overview and the demand related as well as the supply related factors. So having said this, let's go to the first slide. First of all, let us start with the industry structure of the tire sector. The Indian tire industry is an integral part of the automotive sector. It contributes around 3% of the manufacturing GDP of India, and it is an oligopolistic market dominated by a very handful of manufacturers such as MRF, TVS, Sri Chakra, Apollo Tires, SEAT, JK Tires, Bridgestone, Michelin, Continental, and Goodyear. There are many other companies, but these are the companies which play a very dominant role in the industry. Most importantly, if we look at the industry sales trend for the tire sector between FY11 to FY20, we observe that FY19 was a very good year. Thereafter, FY20 was a year where the industry suffered a slight setback, partly because of the COVID and partly because of the fact that commercial vehicle segments as well as the passenger car segments underperformed. Industry segments in terms of percentage share of the product wise, if we see the revenue share, then basically the medium and heavy commercial sector, the light commercial vehicle sector, as well as the two and three wheeler sector play a very important role. In fact, the truck and bus tire segment is one of the largest segments which actually accounts for a significant part of the industry, both in volume as well as value terms, and where realizations of the truck manufacturers are significantly high. So having said this, now let's go to the next slide. Now, what is the channel sales mix in different product categories, which was seen in the year FY20? Typically, we saw that the replacement was roughly about 14%. Then OEM was around 14%, and basically for the light commercial vehicle segment, we saw that basically replacement continues to be very large at around 26%. OEM was 17%, and the balance was exports. Passenger vehicles segment, we saw replacement around 42% and OEM 8%. And typically motorcycle, constituted 51% of the sales mix of the entire sector, and out of that, replacement was roughly about 46%, and just about 3% came from exports. Now the top six players include tire players like MRF, Apollo Tires, Seat, JK Tire, Goodyear, TVS, Sri Chakra, because basically they form a large part of the domestic market and command around 72% share, and cater to basically either a single sector like either truck and bus segment, or all the segments partially. Typically, just to give you an example, Seat and TVS Sri Chakra is dominant in the two-wheeler segment, and Apollo has a very large portion coming from the passenger vehicles and the commercial tire segment. On the other hand, MRF is a player which caters to all the automobile segments and has a notable market share in each segment. Typically, we find that medium heavy commercial segment was around 25-26% for MRF, and now which has increased to almost 50% in FY20. Now typically, most important is, as everyone is aware, commercial vehicle and truck segments have been doing very well, and the benefit of this volume as well as value increase is going to be felt largely by players like MRF, Apollo Tires, JK Tires, because these companies operate significantly in the truck and bus segment. So having said this, let's go to the next slide. Now, what is the demand supply scenario? Now, FY21 tire sector actually sales are expected to be lower as compared to FY18 about 3 years back, but capacity intensity is basically going to be now complete over the next 2 to 3 years, that is between FY22 to FY24. Over the last 4 years, tire companies have spent huge capex in expectations of growth, but due to the decline in OEM volumes as well as lower GDP growth, industry volume growth was tepid over the last few years. On the top of that, due to COVID impact, this year FY21 industry sales are likely to be lower than FY18, but capex done by these companies over the last 3 to 4 years will be sufficient to cover the sales growth expected till FY24-25. So in short and summary, we would like to say that not much capex is now expected to be done by these companies, because most of the capex is complete, and therefore incremental benefits of this capex is going to be felt from FY22 onwards, and therefore we could also see certain amount of deleveraging from these companies as the cash flows from these companies get better. So now let's go to the next slide. Now overall, what is the kind of sector outlook? Now more importantly, basically three robust cropping patterns have ensured a healthy agricultural freight movement. Secondly, healthy rural sentiment should also continue to drive spending, and that should positively play upon the automotive sector, especially the domestic tire sector. Growth in e-commerce should also boost LCV sales. The tipper segment is also seeing a strong recovery as infrastructure and construction activities are catching up, and also the LCV segment, which is used as a intra-city movement, is seeing a strong revival. As per our estimates, from FY22 onwards, the growth in the OEM segment is going to be roughly 30% for FY22. For FY23, the OEM segment for tires will grow by around 14%. The aftermarket segment will grow by 12% in FY22, and then around 10%. And overall domestic, tire segment will grow by around 16-17% in FY22, and it will grow by 11% in FY23. Exports are going to pick up steadily. In fact, we expect a 10% growth in FY22 after a negative growth in FY21. And overall total volumes for the tire sector are expected to grow by 16% in FY22 and around 10 to 11% in FY23. So the numbers definitely look pretty encouraging, considering the fact that freight activity has increased. Most importantly, GST number also on an overall basis in the last 3 months between October to December has averaged around 1 lakh crores, which clearly means that economic revival has started. And despite COVID, we are seeing economic activity picking up. So having said this, now let's go to the next slide. What are the growth drivers for the tire sector ahead? The tire sector basically suffered back-to-back years of volume contraction in the years FY21, a phenomenon not seen in the past 2 decades. However, we expect the volume growth to revive sharply starting FY22. In fact, on a quarterly basis, we expect flattish industry volumes in Q2 FY21, but after a 40% volume decline in Q1 of FY21, which was basically a lockdown kind of period, our sense is that Q3 would see strong numbers. In fact, already companies like Seat and companies like JK Tires have shown very strong numbers for Q3. The management commentary has also been very strong. In fact, Seat has commented that the replacement market is growing at a very fast pace, and JK Tires has also done a reasonably good kind of performance in Q3. Replacement demand is seeing a strong recovery while OE sales have also recovered. We expect that both the replacement and the OE segments, especially the truck and bus segment, to see very strong growth from FY22 onwards. And channel checks indicate a strong volume revival from June. Replacement demand growing in single digits. Tire demand in the replacement market started picking up from June. Initially, we believe that it was tractors, but now it has possibly spread to other categories of the tire segment, which is basically the truck and bus tire segment, the two-wheeler segment, and the passenger car segment. Mostly, if the commercial vehicle scrappage policy is announced in the coming budget, then that could possibly lead to a further incremental gain for the domestic tire manufacturers indirectly, because the higher demand for vehicles would obviously mean a larger OEM demand for the domestic tire sector. So having said this now, friends, let's go to the next slide. With a notification dated 12 June 2020, the DGFT has moved majority of tire categories from the free to restricted imports, which means that an importer has to secure a license to import tires. As per our industry interactions, the government has, until recently not granted import permission to any player. Imports of tires in these categories stood at 3.3% of the Indian tire market, while replacement at 5% of the market, offering a meaningful relief to tire companies. Most importantly, medium and heavy commercial vehicle trucks, which are less than 20 years old, constitute 80% in the long haul movement. Hence, declining stock of medium and heavy commercial vehicles used in the long haul movement would trigger recovery in the replacement demand, with GDP expected to grow by about 10% in FY22 and thereafter at 6.5% in the medium term. We expect a multi-year commercial vehicle cycle, which could last for at least the next 3 to 4 years. This is definitely good news for the truck and bus tire segment, for the tire industry ahead. And therefore we repeat that companies like Apollo, companies like JK, or even MRF, typically which are present in the truck and bus segment in a big way, should definitely see stronger earnings numbers from FY22 onwards. So now let's go to the next slide. Okay, now what is the raw material scenario? Domestic industry margins have shown inverse correlation to raw material prices. Over the last 10 years, EBITDA margins trends of domestic tire companies indicate an inverse correlation to the raw material price movements, as tire companies do not pass on the full impact to customers. We believe that there are two key reasons behind domestic tire companies not passing on the impact of the raw material price movements to customers. First is product segment wise mix of the tire industry is dominated by the commercial tires, that is truck tires, while that of the global industry is skewed towards passenger vehicle tires. Raw material prices remain benign. In fact, there have been some news reports that possibly carbon black prices, tire cord prices have gone up, and that could possibly pose a little problem for tire companies in the fourth quarter. In fact, the commentary from CEAT also has indicated that there could be some kind of margin pressure because of the raw material price increase. But we are pretty confident that these prices could possibly be absorbed by the companies, and they could be passed over to the customers over a period of time. Crude derivatives accounts for 50% of the tire raw material cost, prices of which have come down due to a drop in crude prices. Here also, I would believe that at least for the next 1 or 2 quarters, things could be under control. But thereafter, if crude goes beyond $65 to $75 a barrel, then that could pose a little problem for the domestic industry, that is tire industry, in terms of margins. With global economic growth under pressure, raw material prices are expected to remain benign in the near medium term. Hence, margins of tire companies will be higher beyond FY20. So there's no doubt that margins will improve quite significantly in FY22, considering the fact that raw material prices have increased, but the capacity to absorb these margins and to pass them on will be quite relevant in the current context. So friends, this is the raw material scenario. Now let's go to the next slide. Now, which are the key industry player insights which investors should watch out for? As mentioned earlier, Apollo Tyres India has derived 32% of its sales basically from OEMs, which has again come down to 21% in FY20, as OEM volumes declined sharply, and hence Apollo Tyres underperformed its peers in FY20. Apollo Tyres is the market leader in the commercial vehicle segment with a 28% market share, which contributes 60% of the Indian tire industry revenues. It has also got an 18% share in the passenger car segment. In Europe also, it operates through its subsidiary Vredestein, which it acquired in 2009. Now, MRF is the largest tire maker in India in terms of revenue, including exports, and has a 27% revenue market share. MRF is followed by Apollo with a 19% share, JK and CEAT are at the third and the fourth spots respectively. Apollo and JK Tires have large exposure to the truck and bus segment. The truck and bus segment took a bigger hit in FY20 and FY21, especially with the sharp volume decline in the OEM segment. Heading into the volume recovery in FY21, we expect Apollo and JK to generate higher volume growth compared to MRF and CEAT on the back of higher exposure to the truck and bus segment. We expect truck and the bus segment to see a sharper recovery versus two-wheeler and the passenger car segment in the initial years of the volume recovery. So friends, the most important companies to look out from the listed space would be Apollo Tires, CEAT, JK Tires, typically TVS, Sri Chakra, Goodyear. So these are all companies where our sense is that the industry is at a inflection point, and where FY22 could be a lot better as compared to FY21. Okay, now what are the finally the key risks to the sector? Our belief is that the sector is exposed to basically volatility. Already, as we talk now, carbon black prices, tire cord prices have shot up, but these are reasonably cost increases which can be absorbed by the tire companies. So any further sharp rise in raw material cost and drop in volumes could impact the tire sector going ahead. And finally, COVID-19 re-emergence can also impact revenue visibility. Now, this is very important, friends, because COVID last year had impacted business across sectors, and most importantly for commercial vehicle as well as the automotive kind of company. So if COVID re-emerges and there is some sort of further new kind of COVID development which happens, then that could put a spoke in the wheel for the progress of this sector. So having said this, friends, this is the broad outlook for the sector. Now we will be inviting both our panelists to actually speak a little about the sector and would like to share their views with all of you. Thank you. Can we have Mr. Sharad Chandra also? Would like to have him also in the frame. If he can also join us, please. Yeah.
I think
so welcome back, Ashok ji and Sharad. Ashok ji, first question to you would be, first question to you, Ashok ji, would be that on the tire sector prima facie, what could be Achcon's view on the sector in the medium to long term? If you could share some light on the sector, and what is the kind of outlook which you as a broking house see on this sector?
In Achcon, we are very, very comfortable with the tire industry, tire sector, because we go mainly on the fundamentals and little medium to long term stories. So tire sector looks very good to us, because the all said and done, all whatever happened due to COVID, it is not going to remain here. Like India is on the growth path, and if we are talking about the GDP growth going forward to 8-9% now from 21-22 onwards, then definitely the transport business is going to pick up. The movement of goods is going to pick up. The movement of the people is going to pick up, and that is going to give fillip to the tire industry. And the companies, some of these companies in the tire industry have very deep pockets. They have performed very well in the past, so they could sustain even this problem due to COVID also, because for them this 6-8 months problem is not a very big problem. So we are very optimistic about the tire industry and the companies, good performing companies in the tire industry on the whole, from medium to long term point of view.
Okay, thank you, Ashok ji. In fact, another question, Ashok ji, I would like to ask you is that now most of the companies have started commenting that raw material prices have started increasing, tire costs have started increasing. Can you throw some light that this price increase which has happened on the raw material price, how much impact it could have on the margins of these companies? Because this is also a very important kind of point.
You see, the rubber prices increasing from 5 to 7%. Is not going to have though it is a major raw material with if you look at the rubber prices and the rubber prices is linked by the petroleum products, the crude. So if there is a rise, these companies are capable of absorbing a major part of it and passing on very small portion of it to the consumers, because they understand the compulsions of the consumer. The consumers have just come out of the major COVID related issues, and they would not like to, like force them to buy at a higher price, which will affect the demand of these tires of this company. So I think maybe a impact of 1.5 to 2% on their overall margins should not be a very big thing for these companies.
Okay. Now, I would like to ask Sharad, couple of questions on the sector. In fact, Sharad, would like to know your views, as to what is the kind of thought process, you and, your company, Mehta Equities, what is the kind of view on the truck and bus tire segment? If you could tell us, that in what way this segment is expected to do well, or you think companies which are present in the two-wheelers or the passenger car segments will do better. So some inputs on that, would be appreciated, Sharad.
See, Avinash, as far as my view on the tire industry is concerned, though tire industry is a ancillary industry to the autos, and his fortunes are linked to the fortunes of the auto industry. The last couple of years have been really tough for the auto industry, and obviously ancillaries are also facing much more difficulty. But in terms of value addition, the kind of value addition which ancillaries which have proprietary technology and other kind of investment which they make in technology, their valuations will always remain high. Most of the tire companies are treated by investors as commodity plays, and so 80% of the cost of a tire is basically raw materials, rubber and other derivatives of crude, etc. So when they go up, obviously you're not in a position to pass on everything. When they go down, you have to pass because competitive environment is so high, and so on and so forth. So if you see, except for a couple of companies like Balakrishna Industries and MRF, who have been value creators, others have a high single digit return on capital employed, which is not a very good feature for a investor to invest in. If you look at the ancillary plays which are in the main segment with high technology, they have double digit 20s 30s kind of return on capital employed. So tire industry is a steady play, and I think differentiated players like Balakrishna Industries obviously will generate value, but otherwise majority of the I get a message that my camera is not on. Can you people see me?
Yeah, we can see you, Sharad. We can see you and hear you.
Sorry. So continuing my opinion, well, it's a okay industry to be in. It will not pass through major ups and major downs. So, but a steady state of return of 10% and all is what one can expect from this kind of sector.
Okay, fine, Sharad. Ashok ji, just wanted to ask you a question that now, since Sharad has spoken about one or two companies which he likes, typically could you tell me on a very broader basis which are the companies you think could add a little value, despite the fact that this point is very valid, that this is a fairly commodity sector. The ROCs in this sector are not very high, but within this sector, do you have any choices which you think can do very well in the longer term?
See, as Sharad has said, like ROE is under pressure. But if you look at the Balakrishna industry, though it is in the almost about 80% in the exports and do not have any major brand here locally in India, now its ROE is around 19%. If you look at the flagship company of this whole industry, I mean that is MRF, the ROE is 12%. So it's not that they are, and over the period, if you look what MRF has given over the period, a 500 rupees stock maybe 25 years back, they become now 85,000 rupees. So what an investor should look at is that the value creation over the period of time, maybe 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. And that way I see some of these tire companies, including even MRF, in spite of the price rise and coming back to the old level of the price, MRF, CEAT, Balakrishna Industries, Apollo Tire, I mean, they are all, number one, very safe, because as I told in the very beginning, only all said and done, the consumption of tire is going to be there. The growth is continuously going to be there. And not only that, passenger vehicles or commercial vehicles. Now in the farm, if you know the tractors demand, it is increasing like anything. I mean, so there also the tires are required. So it's a very safe, good. But yes, of course, if you compare with some of those high yielding, high return industries, but then there is a chance of 20% of them going down also. So that way, I prefer for an investor to remain into the tire, and in tire also the main 3-4 major companies. I mean, if you
Okay.
really want to save on your, even JK Tire you talked about, it is coming back. You know, yes, it had some problem because of its own segment. But if you look at it, next 2 years for JK Tire are going to be very good. If you look at the commentary given by the management and the performance recently, which we have seen, so you have to compare with vis-a-vis the price. You know, what price multiple of MRF is there, and what is of JK Tire, and what is of Balkrishna Industries, and what is of Apollo Tire, and at what price you are getting in and getting out. But on the
Okay.
whole, from medium to long term point of view, this industry looks very good to me.
Okay. Thank you, Ashokji. Now, Sharad, one question which I think is very important, for both you as well as Ashokji, is that automotive sales have picked up, volumes have increased, but typically, as you mentioned, that this is a commodity sector where volume growth is essential for growth. What could be the main risk for this sector? At least from a medium to long term horizon, like these are sectors which are typically cyclical sectors. So from a cyclically point of view, what could be the kind of things which an investor should actually note down, if he wants to really invest in these companies and actually exit also at the right prices? So any thoughts here, Sharat?
See, the biggest risk to this sector is that the replacement demand comes from the people who use cars. Now, ideally speaking, the tire, has to be replaced at 50,000 kilometers of run. Now, with Corona around and people having difficulties, and most of the taxi drivers, Ola, Uber, etc., are not being able to make so much of money, they will postpone their demand to 60,000 or 70,000 kilometers. So to that extent, there can be a slowdown in the replacement demand. So I think this is one structural trend which can happen. The another thing which is probably slightly far away is that there is a new technology which is being developed in China, where you find the amount of rubber which is required in the tire is much lower than what is the traditional tire. I don't know whether you people saw that video which is circulated, that probably in 4 or 5 years time, that with a lot of springs inside, the amount of rubber which will be used in that tire will be much lower. So people who have that technology or are able to adopt to that technology, obviously will be the winners. And obviously, as Ajmera ji mentioned, it is brand equity which is important. When you go to a dealer and tell that I want to change my tire, the immediate he says which one do you want, so MRF comes to your mind, and so on and so forth. So brand equity is definitely important, but as I said, this sector will grow at a steady pace, but don't expect a huge rate of return. I think a 10% rate of return is a fair rate of return which you can expect from a tire industry.
Okay. Fine. I think
Yes.
Ashokji, if you can also share your thoughts on what are the kind of
you see,
medium-term risks on the sector.
I don't call it as a pure commodity play. It is more of a brand play, which in a commodity play or commodity player, what is the multiple of P multiple 3, 5, 7, 10? Here we are talking about 22, 25, 30, 38. So it means these people have already built up that brand, and when the time comes, when the good time comes for the overall industry, overall people like economy, then definitely they will be able to jack up their prices and pass on most of these raw material prices and other things to the consumer, because that time the consumer will be having the purchasing power capacity. Today they are under pressure, and since they have deep pockets, they can consume themselves. I mean, they can absorb themselves and put it for consumer very less amount of increase. But all said and done, after all, you have got those 3 or 5 or 7 brands. That's all. The choice is limited for you. The moment you go to, as Sharad has said, which tire, I will say MRF or Apollo. Some people will say JK Tire. SEAT. So 3, 4, 5, maybe Michelin or but then I think on the whole, the industry has invested a lot. A lot of capex has been done over a period of 3 to 5 years. If you look at last 3, 5 years, and now the benefit of this is going to accrue. But for this COVID, this industry would have been doing much better even today also.
Okay.
So I feel I'm very confident of this industry getting you good amount of money with a safety, and you will never repeat an investment in an industry like tire.
Okay, Ashokji. Ashokji, one more thing I wanted to know now to follow this up, that we are going to have the union budget on the 1st of February. So possibly, what could be your expectations broadly? What could possibly come for the automotive sector, and will that indirectly give a little boost to the tire sector also? So any thoughts on this news flow?
Yes, I feel this budget is going to be a very unique budget, because we have gone through a major problem. Not only, globe, we are talking about our country. We have gone through a very bad this 8-10 months period, and the budget would like to address, and the immediate thing which comes to the mind is the mobility, the transport, the travel industry, and in that tire plays a very important role. So I think overall this budget is going to be a most I would call it I have not I have just some guess I can make it, but it will be a budget of decade. So
Okay.
which is definitely going to give a lot of benefit to the overall transport, travel, automobile industry, and which in turn will percolate down to line to all the ancillaries, including the tire industry, and some benefit or a lot of benefit for someone can definitely come in.
Okay, Ashokji. Sharad, my question is, just one question relating to budget, and one question on the, import duty, or maybe the ban of imported tires now, which government has announced. So, what do you think? First of all, from a budget perspective, automobiles still currently enjoy a GST of almost 28%. If there is a possibility that GST rates get cut here, then will it lead to, some sort of a further stronger demand revival in automotives and indirectly benefit the tire companies? And secondly, does the import embargo on imported tires, does it really make a lot of economic sense for the domestic companies, as a matter of protection for the local business? So any thoughts on these two inputs?
See, one, the government has obviously talked about Atmanirbhar Bharat and Made in India as a policy. So, they would not like Chinese player to dump tires in our country and make our units unviable, then capture the market share and then squeeze the market. So obviously, I think that policy of protecting the industry will definitely continue. Cutting down of GST, I have my doubts, because already we are strained on the fiscal front. This year the FRBM target is going to go to a toss. Probably we'll have 8-9% fiscal deficit to the GDP ratio, which was targeted at to around 4%. So expecting tax softs, etc., looks to be difficult. I think in terms of policy, Make in India, incentives for local business and ease of doing business, I think those are steps which government will definitely take and would like to give a fillip to the automobile industry. But expecting tax cuts seem to be highly unlikely in this situation.
Okay. I think you're right, Sharad. That is right. One question, Ashokji, to you is, now we have heard a lot about electric vehicles. Suddenly now most of the automotive companies, are in limelight, because people are expecting that electric vehicles will be the new flavor of the day. So, what is the kind of, outlook and the prospects for these electric vehicles? Because in India, we all know what is the state of infrastructure. So your thoughts on electric vehicles, because, indirectly that will have a big impact on automotive tires, in the longer term. So some thoughts on this input, please.
It's definitely a very welcome thing, because from the environmental point of view, but let us not forget the reality, in India. So according to me, electric vehicle, okay, some inroads, maybe 1%, 2%, maybe 5% at the end of 5 years or 10 years. But I don't think we should worry too much about it, or we should we should rather enjoy too much of it today. I don't think electrical vehicle is going to make such a big impact in the near future in this country.
Okay. So basically, what you say is that electric vehicles will not make a very significant impact on the IC
No.
engine, which is the current, manufacturing base, which, I think most people are forgetting. As you rightly said, that infrastructure is not there. The costing is also not in favorable terms today. Unless the government gives some tax concessions, we are not going to see cheaper electric vehicles. So that is a very valid point you have made.
Because lot
So
of
Sharad,
challenges
now
are there. There are a lot of challenges.
exactly. So I mean that is what I'm saying. For a segment like tires, it does not make a sense because anyway, even if the vehicle is electric, the vehicle will obviously require tires. So to that
There will be
extent,
there.
tire is an insulated product. So it will not make a difference whether it is electric or IC engine. Sharad, what is your thought process? You have also been covering the auto sector for a long time. What is your thought process? This electric vehicle frenzy which we are seeing in the markets, is it realistic or one should expect only results in the next say 5-10 years only?
Yeah, electric vehicle is a long drawn story as far as India is concerned. I think the first initiative will happen as far as public transport is concerned, because government runs the public transport and they'll build up the infrastructure, and so you'll find a lot of BEST buses and the straight transport buses getting into electric mode. The second segment will be obviously the two-wheelers, which is much more easier and much more possible to charge, and then second will be three-wheeler rickshaws, because that is also a viable segment for as far as the four-wheelers are concerned and heavy commercial vehicle trucks are concerned. I think it's a long drawn process. And in any case, what you said rightly, how does it make an impact on a tire industry? Whether it's A kind of vehicle or B kind of vehicle, tires are the same. It's problem for some of the auto ancillary who specialize in the traditional technology. So they will have to reinvent themselves and find new technologies as far as the electric vehicle is concerned.
Yeah, I think that is a very valid point, and I think to that extent, the tire sector is very well insulated. They don't have to bother. In fact, incremental demand from electric vehicles will be like an added plus point for them. My last question to both of you would be that Ashokji, first I would like you to answer. In the entire company universe of domestic tires, like today we have discussed the tire sector. I mean, any company which you feel which could add long-term value to the investors without a target price. If you can just share your thoughts on some companies which you think could be declines.
See, my most favorite in the tire sector is the MRF. Now, one should not get too much perturbed or bothered seeing the price of 85,000 or 87,000. But only advice is, it's not a day trading stock, or it's not a very short term kind of a thing. You keep it in the portfolio, go on reviewing after 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years. It is definitely going to you a fantastic appreciation. And then other two are I'm now looking at JK Tire as a future good this thing, because there is a great revival plans which are going on. And CEAT, I'm not that very because we look at so I would advise next to MRF is the Apollo Tire.
Okay, so basically you are talking about MRF and Apollo tires, which would be decent kind of value bets in the current scenario,
Yes.
and which could give good long term value. Okay.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Sharad, what is your thought process? I mean, you have been very minutely covering the tire sector. You mentioned about ROE and the return on capital employed levels, but all of us agree that whenever the automotive cycle actually takes off in a big way, obviously auto ancillaries benefit. So within the tire sector, if you get certain stocks maybe at market declines, possibly market corrects after the budget or maybe at whatever point of time, would that figure in your investment basket? Some key tire stocks which you would like and accumulate at lower levels.
The only stock which comes to my mind and which is in our investment universe and can definitely be on the recommended list from time to time, or even in our portfolio management list, is Balakrishna Industries, because they are into specialized tires. They are also into export market. They have lesser amount of competition. And so if you look at their margins are better, their return on equity is better, and they have been a value creator. If you look at a 10-year time horizon, I think this stock has given you more than 20% or 18-20% kind of rate of return. So Balakrishna Industry is one of the stocks which I can recommend if somebody forces me to buy something in the tire industry. Otherwise, I'll prefer auto ancillaries, and there are several auto ancillary companies which have high technology and competitive entry barriers, and will sustain over a period of time to create shareholder value.
Okay, I think we have covered a lot of ground in this interview, both Ashok ji as well as Sharad. So thank you very much for your cooperation.
Thank you. It's our pleasure to be here.
They have liked the format of this show. Please like this video when we release it very soon to all of you. Please share it with your friends. And this is going to be a knowledge series where we will be inviting a lot of new experts talking about sectors, companies, and this I think will go a long way in educating investors. So thank you very much, and best of wishes to both of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy investing.